I am back with a pregnancy update. I really meant to do this a lot sooner and I didn't, and I apologize, but I don't know. I feel like I can lump this all into one video and it'll be fine. My videos don't tend to be short anyway. So just to keep you up to date, I am 36, almost 37 weeks pregnant, like on the cusp of 37 weeks pregnant. So well into my third trimester, 9 months pregnant, in my 9th month, and very pregnant. Let's just say that. I'm very pregnant. I feel very pregnant. I feel very pregnant. Oops, sorry, my pen just fell. I have really, you know, all things considered, the pregnancy has gone fine, very smoothly. Baby has been well and healthy the whole time. I've had some little things, but they're in the grand scheme of things that could happen during a pregnancy. They're really very minor. I am going to talk about them in this video because that's what this video is about. But I'm not trying to make my problems seem like they're the biggest pregnancy problems in the world. They're just the things I've been experiencing, and I'm going to share them with you. Really, I do feel very grateful that I've had a pretty healthy pregnancy, aside from, you know, just some really kind of minor illnesses that I've experienced this last couple of months, but I'll get into that in a minute. So the last time I updated you, I was about halfway through my pregnancy. So I was about 20-ish weeks pregnant. So I kind of updated you through halfway through the second trimester. The second half of my second trimester, from what I can recall, went fine. I did have some heartburn flare up right around 20 weeks, and it lasted a couple of weeks. And it was, you know, kind of intense. And I did some little things to work with it, and I talked about those in my last update, which I will link for you guys if you want to see it, if you missed it. But really, it subsided naturally after a few weeks, and I didn't have an issue with it for quite a while. So that was good. I continued to feel tired. That's been kind of the main thread through this pregnancy. With Charlotte, when I was pregnant with my first, I did not feel tired the whole pregnancy. I had a lot of energy in the second trimester, and I felt really good for most of the third trimester too. This one, I've just been tired throughout, and every pregnancy is different, and obviously my life situation is different now. Being mother of a 2-year-old, so I'm sure those things all play into it. But it hasn't been unmanageable. It's not like I need to lie down and rest in the middle of the day. I managed to get by just fine. I just feel, you know, you can just tell when you're not running to, you know, with full steam in your tank, or I don't know, that didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. I'm looking at my notes, by the way. Lots of baby growth, of course. The second half of the second trimester, a very typical time for lots of baby growth. I feel like I am so much bigger this time around with this baby. Interestingly enough, I've gained about the same weight at this point. I just looked it up, my update from when I was pregnant with Charlotte at 36 weeks, I had gained 29 pounds. I've gained 30 pounds at 36 weeks this pregnancy, and I started 2 pounds lighter than I was with Charlotte. So it's approximately the same. So that's interesting. I feel like I've been eating really badly this pregnancy. I have not been eating well. I do well with my meals, but I've been really naughty as the past couple of months with the holidays and everything, with sweets and treats, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I don't know, somehow I've gained the same amount of weight. So that's good, and that's in my healthy range according to my doctor for me. So right on track with that. Okay, so here's the deal. I flipped into this third trimester when we were on our family baby moon trip in Disney World, which I did a vlog on. Again, I'll throw it up in a card for you guys want to see it. And the eve of the day that I flipped into my third trimester, I got hit really hard with a nasty virus. And I hadn't been sick in a really long time, and it was just, I was miserable that night. And it was it hit me kind of like a Mack truck. And then I felt better the next day, and then by the time we got home, I felt sick. Like I actually had it was just like a bad head cold. It wasn't anything serious. I didn't have a fever or anything like that. Basically, I remained sick for the rest of my 3rd trimester up until about a week ago. So for about 2 months, I was sick, and I really think it was a few different viruses back to back. I don't think it was the same one. I think it was maybe 3, because I would have it for like, I don't know, 10 to 14 days, and then I'd feel like I was getting better, and then I'd feel like I was coming down with something else, and it'd just be like a little bit different. The symptoms would be a little bit different. With the first one, it was more like the sore throat, kind of stuffy nose, head cold thing, and then with the second one, I had laryngitis. I completely lost my voice. And then with the 3rd one, I actually ended up with a pretty gnarly sinus infection. And you guys, I've never had a sinus infection before. I had no idea what that was. They suck. They really do. Like, they're no fun. Sinus infection is where your sinuses are infected and your face just is so tender. Like, it felt like there was so much pressure coming from my bones. Like, I could feel every bone in my face, and it was just, I've never had one. I'm like, sorry if I sound like a big baby, but it was just a new experience for me. And I didn't know what it was. For like a week, I lived with it, and I was like, I figure this is just a really bad cold and I'll get better. Well, that was over the Christmas weekend and that whole week. And then finally, by the time I figured, I had the sense to Google that this wasn't like a normal cold, and I figured out what it was, by the time I got to the doctor and got antibiotics, it was almost New Year's. So I had that for about a couple of weeks. The antibiotics, they put me on I guess it's called a Z-Pak. I'm not really familiar with this kind of medicine, but I don't recall the last time I took antibiotics like that. If I have, maybe I have once before. I don't even know, honestly, but it was a 5-day course, and by the like 3rd or 4th day, I was feeling significantly better. I still have like some residual kind of like phlegm. I have a little dry cough because of it, and I have to blow my nose a little bit more than I would if I were completely well, but I am much better. So that has been a blessing after 2 months of just feeling rotten. And like I said, these are not big deal illnesses. It's not like I was super sick or had like a real problem, and the baby was just fine, which is the most important part. But it's just not fun when you're in your 3rd trimester, especially feeling really tired, because the exhaustion comes back hard at you in the 3rd trimester to be sick for that long. Fortunately, my family stayed pretty healthy. Don was able to fight off a couple of those viruses. Like, he almost got them, but we like pumped him full of zinc and vitamin C, and he managed to not really get hit hard with those. And Charlotte did okay. She had 1 week where she was not that great, and she ended up having an ear infection. Again, something I don't have any experience with, but she told me that her ear hurt. She's very, very verbal, and she's very good at communicating about those sorts of things. And as soon as she told me, she had been like, had this cold for like a week, and as soon as the day she told me her ear hurt, I was like, okay, we're going to the pediatrician, because that seems like a pediatrician thing. And lo and behold, she had an ear infection. And she had medicine, an antibiotic too, and that cleared up right away, like within a couple of days. And she's been fine, knock on wood, ever since. So fortunately, they stayed pretty healthy, except for that 1 week where Charlotte was a little under the weather, but she's such a trooper. Even though I could tell she wasn't feeling well, she was still in really good spirits. She's such a sweet girl. It's hard to break her spirit. I mean, not that, you know what I mean? Like, she just is a cheery kid. So yeah, we managed through those things. It did take, you know, it was a bummer to be sick during the holidays too, but I made it to all the family things. I really wanted to be at all of those. That was very important to me, to see the kids together, to see all the cousins playing. My brother's family came up to visit. My in-laws stayed in town. They didn't go to Utah because they wanted to be with us, since we weren't going to be flying. so close to the end of my pregnancy. I just knew I wouldn't have the stamina to do it, even though I was like safe to do it up until now, basically. I think 36 weeks is the flying cutoff, according to my doctor. But I knew I wasn't going to be able to do all that traveling. That was just not going to happen. And a good thing we didn't plan that, because that would have sucked with a sinus infection and, you know, a recovering toddler and all that. So yeah, it ended up working out great. And we had a wonderful holiday together. It was really relaxed and very just homey and family oriented and everything the holidays should be. And Charlotte had so much fun with her cousins, and we got her, for her Christmas gift, we got her a play kitchen and all the little food and stuff that goes in it. That was like her present for Christmas, and she just loves that. She was spoiled by my family. And well, this isn't about my pregnancy, but anyway, despite the illness and the feeling very pregnant and all that goes in with it, we had a really wonderful holiday season, and I really am grateful for how it turned out. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? Okay, so obviously third trimester, you're just more tired. I have been tired, especially this past week. I feel it really setting in, and I know it is separate from the illness because I'm not sick anymore. I'm not like actively sick. I know it's pregnancy related. So, you know, I still have a lot of things I want to do, and I have a lot of energy, like mental energy to do them. I'm definitely, my brain is in nesting mode. I just don't have a lot of physical energy, so I'm just trying to space things out during the day as I can. You know, and I don't know, I'm managing. I'm really doing just fine. I have had some nausea return this past week, which I've heard some people have that return in their third trimester. I was nauseous for my entire first trimester. It hasn't been all the time. It's mostly in the morning and just for about an hour. And I'm not really sure what that's about. I haven't like been physically ill or anything, even though I felt like it. Yeah, that's just been a little thing that's kind of popped back up. I do have what I call the third trimester zoomies. If you've ever had a puppy, you know, this is a common puppy term. The dogs get the zoomies, and especially when they're puppies and they go running around and they have all this excess energy. Kids get the zoomies too, okay? Third trimester mommies get the zoomies. I think some of us do, at least. And it's all about nesting. It's those instincts to kind of prepare, you know, get everything ready. So I have been, throughout the third trimester, despite my not feeling well, I am not one to lie in bed during the day. I just can't. So I've been working on the nursery a lot. I have been, you know, tidying up little bits of parts of the house. Been working on our mudroom, which needs a lot of attention, but I've just been doing that in little pieces. You know, decorating for the holidays, putting those things away, sorting things constantly, donating things constantly. I'm like in a constant state of purge and sort over the past few years in the house, and I really am very happy with the results of that. And just kind of getting the house ready and kind of getting everybody ready for baby's arrival. So that's been nice to have that kind of like mental energy, at least. In the last couple of weeks, my heartburn has returned with a vengeance. And now, this time around, I can tell it's not really food triggered at all. It's more about the time of day and like my physical activity. If I'm moving around a lot, if I'm bending over a lot, especially if I'm bending over a lot, which you have to do with a toddler and also a dog who's so cute, and you have to rub her belly. You have to bend over to rub her belly. That was kind of a joke, but you guys feel me. So the heartburn has been intense, especially when I'm trying to fall asleep. That's kind of the worst. And I have had this past week some difficulty getting comfortable to fall asleep. And part of that is heartburn. I find that if I kind of sleep propped up on an angle, that helps. But also part of that is the baby has been moving a lot this whole trimester. But now that I'm really big and he's getting bigger and there's less space in there, his movements are not as fluid. They're more, well, that's not the right word. They are fluid. They're not as kind of sudden. They're more like rolling, big rolling motions. And he's so big that when he's like turning around and whatever he's doing there, I have no idea. I can really, really feel it, and it can be very uncomfortable in certain, you know, depending on where he is. It can be very uncomfortable. And he tends to do a lot of his moving when I am trying to fall asleep, which is very typical of, you know, when you're up and about and kind of walking around and moving around all day, it kind of rocks the baby to sleep. And then when you finally sit down or rest or lie down, whatever, and you're still, then they're really active and they wake up, and there's no like gentle rocking motion. So that's been a little bit of a thing this past week, but I've still been managing to sleep okay. I get up maybe 2 to 3 times a night to use the restroom because my bladder is being squished into a tiny little thing, but that hasn't been too big of an issue. I am feeling really big. I just feel really huge. Like I feel like I'm so much bigger at this point, like in terms of my belly, than I was with Charlotte, even though, like I said, my weight gain is virtually the same. I just feel enormous. But I haven't felt like heavy. I feel like I've been able to carry myself pretty well. I'm getting to the point where it's starting to get a little bit more challenging to get myself up off the floor or off the couch, or, you know, I just need a little bit more, it takes a little bit more effort, I would say, but I don't feel like when I'm walking around or doing any of the things that I do on my feet all day that I don't feel like heavy. I just feel like protruding. And I'll try to show you a bump shot. I'm not very good at this, and I'm wearing like this baggy sweater today, which was not the best outfit choice for this, but I get so many requests. I don't know, I don't want to say it's a little creepy, but it feels a little creepy. Not creepy, that has a really negative connotation. It just like feels a little awkward when people you don't know are like, I want to see your belly. I don't even really want people I know to ask me that. Like, I don't know. It's just a personal thing. I like get a little weirded out by it, but I will show you guys what I can here. In terms of food cravings and aversions, I really haven't had like specific cravings the past, you know, couple of months. It's been more like I just want a lot of carbs still. It's been that way for my whole pregnancy. I definitely overdid it on the sweets in the first half of the December, and then I got really sick and I didn't like want to eat anything for a couple of weeks there. And then since then I've been fortunately less sweet tooth prone, because I just felt like that got really out of hand. And I just want to eat less sugar, and especially when I start, you know, after I deliver, I'm hoping to cut sugar out for the most part. Just with my past experience with Charlotte and the thrush and all that we went through, I just want to make sure I'm keeping my diet pretty clean of processed sugars for those first few months with nursing. And it's just better. It's just healthier for me anyway. I definitely overdid it with sweets this holiday season. So I'm due for a break, like an indefinite break. Not that I'll never eat any chocolate or anything like that ever again, but you know what, like, you know what I mean? Like cutting back significantly would make a big difference. Aversions, I still don't want fish. I don't want to smell fish. I don't want to look at fish. Seafood I'm okay with. Like I could eat crab, shrimp, depending on the scenario, but no fish. And I really have just not wanted a lot of animal proteins, and that's been consistent for most of this pregnancy. It's not that I won't eat them, it's just that I don't want them or a lot of them. Like I just want a tiny bit. So I've been trying to do what I can with keeping up with healthy protein intake, you know, through legumes and peanut butter and eggs. I'm back on eggs, so that's good because I was off eggs for a little while. So I have a hard-boiled egg every morning, and that makes me happy. But you know, and I will eat at dinner, is really the only meal where I eat some animal protein, and I'll just have maybe like a half portion as to what I would normally eat. That's basically all that's been going on lately. I've, like I said, been prepping for the baby. I've been working on his nursery. We have the furniture. We have, I have new blinds installed, blackout blinds. He's got a rug in there. I've washed all of his like his newborn and 0 to 3 month things and stored all those things away. So that's all coming along. I'm still waiting on the chair I ordered to be delivered, so I'm not going to hang any of the artwork until that's delivered, so I know where the placement of everything is exactly. But that will be coming in the next, that might come after he does, but that's not a big deal because I'm planning on at least at night nursing him in here for the first little bit. His room is adjacent to Charlotte's room. When I was when Charlotte was a newborn, she obviously slept in here. I have the Halo bassinet set up and right next to my bed over here for baby boy, and I've washed the sheets and I've got it all ready to go. She would sleep in there, and then I would take her into her room to change and nurse her because I didn't want to disturb Dawn. I figured she never took a bottle. We tried. It never happened. So that was never an option for me. I knew I was gonna have to, get up to nurse her, which I was happy to do, but I figured, why make Dawn wake up if I have to get up anyway to nurse her? I couldn't nurse in bed. I just could not do it. That's not a skill that I ever had. I don't know if I'll have it with this one either. I'm kind of assuming I won't. But I would just take her into her room to nurse in my nursing chair and change her in there on the changing table, because then I wouldn't disturb him and it just was comfortable and, made sense. So with this baby, I don't want to take him into his room because it's right next to hers and I don't want to run the risk of him waking her up if he cries, whatever. So I'm kind of assuming I'll stay in here. Don's a very heavy sleeper. I think I was a little hypersensitive about his sleep with Charlotte because I just wanted to make sure he was well rested too. It's still important to me, but I know now, after having a kid for 2 years, that he never wakes up, even when she's screaming bloody murder through the monitor when she was, an infant. He would never wake up. I wake up if she moves, basically, and he never wakes up. So I'm not worried about that. But what I'm doing is I'm preparing this room a little bit more to be, for the first, little bit, to be where I can change and nurse him comfortably, not in bed, in case that doesn't work out for me. So basically, I've cleared off our bureau and I've changed it into a changing station. So I have, I'll show you guys, I'll insert a clip of what I've done. Just very simple. And I've cleared out one of my drawers. I have the 2 top drawers in that dresser are mine for my undergarments. I moved all my undergarments into one side and I made one side just for his smallest sleepers and, burp cloths and extra wipes and diapers and things like that I'll need that aren't necessarily out on top of the bureau. And then where I'm sitting here, you'll see a couple little tables there. I don't know if I'm keeping both of these. They just came, I just assembled them. I'm definitely keeping this one. They're both from Amazon. This is one that kind of tucks up under a sofa. It's like a sofa table, but it actually is the perfect height to fit over the arm of this chair. And I have this really intense backrest pillow thing that I'm going to put back here. That's very, very supportive. It has great arms, so it's great for nursing, to kind of turn this chair into kind of a nursing station, so I can prop up my, my water, and if I want to watch something on my iPad or something like that, I can have all that stuff stationed there. And then I also bought this. I've been wanting a side table for this area for a long time, and I found that one, and I really like it. I don't really need both of them for the nursing thing. I just happened to be looking at side tables on Amazon and I found exactly what I wanted for a good price. This won't stay here probably past this stage. We'll probably just use it somewhere else in the house. But it's a nice little table to have and it's just very convenient. And yeah, those are the main, that's basically what I'm doing to this room. To kind of prep it for baby until he's sleeping more and gets up less often and we've settled in and Charlotte's gotten used to all the new noises and things that come with an infant, and then I can start bringing him into his room and then eventually he'll sleep in his room too. So those are the preparations I've made. I've also packed my hospital bag. It's packed. And I'm gonna I know this video is getting really long, I'm just gonna briefly talk to you about what's on the horizon and well, I would have packed my bag at this point anyway, but especially why I wanted to have it packed. I am going to be 35 in a couple of weeks. My birthday's at the end of this month, and technically my due date is after my birthday, just after my birthday. So they classified me as AMA, which is advanced maternal age. So basically when you're 35 and up, they just take some extra precautions with those mothers to be to, because there's just there's just more probability of issues and risks and things. Not that those things will definitely happen, it's just precautionary things you do. So like for instance, I had my 20-week ultrasound at the hospital. They call it a level 2 ultrasound. It's just a little bit more in depth. And then I knew starting at this time, at the very end of my pregnancy, I would have to go back to the hospital for a weekly stress test. That was something I knew from the beginning. Because of the situation with Charlotte, how I had low amniotic fluid with her, they also want to do an in-depth ultrasound at the hospital on those days that I go have my weekly stress test. So yes, those start this week. And based on my experience with Charlotte, I know it is completely possible that I will have to deliver after one of those appointments if they find there's low amniotic fluid again. According to the specialist I saw at the 20-week appointment, the ultrasound, he said it's much more likely to have low amniotic fluid if you've already had it before. And that's the scenario where they always want you to deliver right away, because it means your placenta is not supporting your baby as well anymore, and there's a lot of risks there, and they just want to, you know, they want to get the baby out and make sure they're safe. And I'm at, you know, I'll be at the safe to deliver point at that. By the time this, I mean, yeah, I'm basically safe to deliver now. The baby's fully developed. It's just a matter of adding on pounds at this point, the baby. So going into those appointments, I want to have in my car my hospital bag ready to go. I will bring in, I have that's my like packed bag with my like stuff that I need, but I also have this little tote bag it's like my delivery bag. I will link my what's in my hospital bag video from Charlotte, when I had Charlotte, because it's basically I packed the same. If you guys want to see it again, I'm happy to film another one. I'd probably wait till after I have the baby to tell you what worked and what didn't, because that's how I did it with that video, which a lot of you found helpful. But I will bring my delivery bag into those ultrasound stress test appointments just so I'm prepared. I have the little things that I want to have during delivery. I have snacks for Dawn. I'll do a video if you guys want to see. Dawn's gonna come with me to those appointments just to be safe. You know, we've already lined up, you know, people to help with Charlotte on those days, so we're ready just in case we have to stay. So it's very possible, you guys, that I could have a baby this week. I'm hoping that the amniotic fluid is fine and that he has a couple more weeks to cook in there. It's also very possible he's going to be breached just like Charlotte was because of the shape and nature of my uterus that we discovered during my C-section with her. I have an arcuate uterus, and it's just makes it harder for the baby to flip around and be in the right position. And just the way it's shaped, there's more space. I don't know. It's definite possibility. But even if he's breached, as long as the amniotic fluid is fine, I don't have to deliver right away. In that scenario, they'd probably have me schedule a C-section, I would imagine, for a week or two later, depending on what my OB suggests in conjunction with the specialist. I think we're gonna have a baby this month. I think it's extremely likely. I don't expect to, my original due date was early February. I don't expect to make it to early February. I think we're gonna have a January baby. Like I said, I hope he has a little bit more time to kind of just develop it, and if he's not ready to come out yet, I don't, you know, I think, you know, I would love to be able to have what they call a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after C-section, which is a possibility if the circumstances are right. If he's head down, if my amniotic fluid is fine, then I am cleared, as long as everything else looks good with my stress tests and my ultrasound results. I'm cleared to do that, go that route. And of course I would prefer that. Who wants to have major surgery? Like no thank you. The recovery is much shorter, and it's just, there's benefits to the baby to having a vaginal birth, there's benefits to the mother as well, and I would just prefer it, but I'm not in control of that. It's, you know, it's not up to me. It's really based on how things look and what is best for the health and safety of this baby. And of me too, because that plays into it as well. So we'll see what unfolds. I did want to get this video out before that appointment because I don't know what's going to happen this week. I could have a baby and then I wouldn't have a video for you guys for who knows how long. But that's kind of what's on the radar. I'm really excited. I'm feeling really ready. I know it's hard to be like really ready whenever you have a baby, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of transitions, especially with having a 2-year-old and trying to help her transition through it and help us go from 1 to 2 kids and all of that. But I'm just excited ready. Like I'm ready to head on into the unknown. So I know this was a really long update, you guys, but you know all of my videos are really long updates. So there it is. I am gonna film a little pregnancy must-haves video that I'm gonna pop up for you at the end of this week. My list is pretty small, but I've gotten requests for this over the past couple of years. I didn't do one with Charlotte because I just didn't feel like I had enough experience with only having 1 pregnancy. But now that I've been through pregnancy twice, I kind of know the things that are my must-haves. So if you're interested in hearing those, that will be at the end of this week. And then after that, I'm not sure what content will come next. It again depends when the baby comes. If the baby comes, I will let you guys know via social media. So you can look out for that there. But if you don't see any content from me next week, you can assume that I've had a baby and I will be back as soon as I can sharing more. I will do a nursery tour when that's done. It'll probably be a couple of months from now. He's not going to be sleeping in there for a while anyway, so I don't feel pressured to finish that. It's really in good shape. It's just, you know, it's the little things. Hanging decor, and I have to do his closet. I haven't worked on that at all, but it's just little things like that. And if you guys want a hospital bag, I can do that postpartum as well, and as well as I will definitely do a delivery video for you guys. And if I don't have a baby this week, I will have kind of my usual content up. I have some things, you know, planned if I'm still pregnant. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate so many of you have left such wonderful, kind comments wishing me well. You've noticed I've been ill, and I just really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, so thank you. And yeah, I'm thinking about you too. Thanks for thinking about me. All right, you guys, I will see you at the end of this week, and then we'll see. Okay, take care. Bye.